Hey everyone, have you ever wanted to connect your very own custom AI agent directly to your Bolt project? In this video, we're going to connect your Bolt project with an agent builder N8N, and you're going to see why this process is absolutely game-changing. Here's the thing, Bolt is incredible at quickly writing full-stack applications, but what if you want your app to do more? What if you want it to make sophisticated decisions on your behalf and take actions automatically? Or what if you want to connect several different external sources and then take an action based on that? The beauty of these agentic AI builders such as N8N is that you can visually build them, meaning that you can prototype and work on them incredibly quickly. You can think of an agent builder as the intelligent backend that can orchestrate complex workflows, make decisions, and connect hundreds or thousands of different services and all control this visually. You may have heard of N8N, OpenAI's agent builder. There are tools like Zapier and Make as well. In this video, we're going to connect a task manager tool such as Linear to your agent builder N8N to fire off an agentic workflow. And when that gets completed, it's going to create an HTTP request and send this information directly into your Bolt database. To get started, let's have a look at the N8N workflows that we've already configured. We've got two of them. This is the first one, and it's triggered by a linear issue. Once that issue changes its state and it's marked as done, it then upserts this item into the N8N database. You can see there are a variety of columns, linear ID, title, description, etc. And if we change over to the table, we can see we've got those as columns in here with no data. So let's come in and we're going to now publish this workflow. Now it's listening for events from Linear. We'll come into Linear and we're going to mark these items as done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. It's a hard day's work. Now we'll have a look at the table and we'll refresh the data. We can see that all 5 of these items have now passed through into the N8N table. Now let's look at the second workflow. This is triggered when we click execute. However, you can get this to trigger on a daily basis, a weekly basis, or whenever time scheduled you prefer. Once we execute this, it's going to get the rows from the database and it's going to look for everyone that's happened in the last 10 minutes. Then it's going to send this through to an AI agent, which uses this as the system prompt. It says, you are a highly strategic product manager. Your job is to read a list of completed tasks, which are linear issues, and summarize them into a structured report for the team. Here's the raw data. And we're converting all of the JSON input data into a string. There are some rules. Notice that we've connected an LLM to summarize this data. If we go back into the agent, we also have a structured output. We're saying that there's a certain JSON format that it should follow when outputting this data. So let's go ahead and execute this workflow. The workflow is complete. We can see that 5 items, those 5 rows that we were just looking at, have gone into the AI agent. It's structured the output, it's summarized them, and 1 output has come out. So we can click on it and have a look at the output here. We can see that the total tickets completed is 5. Here's the summary. The team completed a set of small but impactful front-end and UX improvements across the product, focusing on landing page copy and social proof, etc. Also, it has the completed tickets with the linear URL and completed by as well. Now, this is a fairly basic agentic workflow, but you get the understanding. Often you can connect multiple AI agents. You can have a variety of different information sources in here. You can do web research and a variety of other things. That's where you can be really creative with your AI agent builder. Once we have our output, what we're going to do is we're going to copy all of this. Now it's time to build the front end, and let's prompt it in Bolt. Let's build a page which summarizes all of the recent updates from Linear. This will be sent via HTTP request in the following format shown below. That's where we'll paste what we just copied. Make sure that each request is saved to the database. Just create the UI and database for now. Do not add the edge function to receive the HTTP request yet. Create a sleek, modern UI using ShadCN where possible. Now, because we've just added MCP to Bolt, I'm going to show you how that works. Let's click plus. We'll go to connectors. I've added a custom connector, which is the ShadCN UI MCP, and I'm going to toggle this on. With that already, let's go into plan mode and we'll build it out. So the agent's come back with this plan. It all looks good, so let's implement it. The agent's finished working and it's successfully created the user interface for our tickets. Notice it's got the summary up here, it's got the linear ticket, the title, the assignee, and the amount of tickets completed. Now remember, if we look back to our prompt, we actually provided it with this JSON data payload, which is what it's expecting. And that's why it's gone ahead and pre-populated the database with these issues. We can look into the database and we can see it's been able to add these linear completed tickets with the ID, the description, title completed by, etc. So it looks like the front end is all set up the way we want it to be. So here comes the fun part, and this is where we're going to set Bolt up to receive the payload from N8N. Here's our prompt. I want to receive an HTTP request from N8N. Please create a server function that acts as an API endpoint to ingest this payload. The function should pass the JSON payload mentioned earlier and insert that into my database. Security constraint. Please include a simple API key check so only authorized requests are processed. Finally, provide me with all the necessary details, method, URL, format, headers, body to configure the HTTP request node in N8N to successfully send this data. Let's plan it out and we'll send it off. The agent's come back to us with this plan. It's saying, one, it's going to create the edge function called ingest linear update. It's going to accept a post request and check for an X API key. Also, it will configure the server function secrets, and it's provided us with the information so that we can set up the HTTP request within N8N. Looks good. Let's go ahead and implement this plan. The agent's finished working. Now let's have a look and we'll see our server functions. It's created the ingest linear update. We can always inspect this by going into code, opening Supabase, opening functions, and here we can see it under index. We can read through and have a look at how the edge function or the server function actually works. Now notice it's also asking us for us to add a secret. This is where we want to configure a password. So Bolt has access to the password, and we're also going to add this in N8N. It's going to check that these are the same, and that's how it authorizes the HTTP request. For the sake of this demo, I'm literally going to call it password just so it's easy for us to remember. But when you're doing this, choose a long, strong password that's hard to guess. Let's create the secret. Now everything should be set up on the Bolt end. Now let's set up our HTTP request in N8N. So we're going to click add node, HTTP, here it appears. We'll click on that. Our method is post. Now it wants the URL. So we'll jump back into Bolt. We'll copy this URL over and we'll paste this in. Now notice it's saying it wants us to insert our project ref right here. So we can find that by coming into Bolt, going into the .env file, and we can find this string right here. So we're going to copy that in front of supabase.co and we're going to paste that in here. So there's our correct API endpoint. Now we're going to add our headers as well because it wants us to add our authentication headers. So it wants two value pairs. Let's look in Bolt what it's asking for. One of them is content type. We'll paste this in. Application JSON. We'll paste that in as the value. And the other is that password that we just created. So now N8N has access to that password as well. Great. So let's go ahead and just test out this step without adding a body just yet. So we do have an error, and if we open that up, it's a 401 error. So this means that the authorization has failed. To show you how to diagnose an issue like this, because they may come up, simply screenshot what we have here. We'll come back into Bolt and we'll paste that screenshot into the agent. We'll pop it over into plan mode and let's ask the agent what we can do to fix this. Let's see what the agent is saying. Now, by default, the agent has created this server function requesting JSON Web Token verification on the Edge function. It's almost like a double check of security when one of them is unnecessary. Because the function has already set up its own authentication via the X API key, the header check against the linear ingest API key is secret, so the security is still enforced at the application level. So basically, we'll allow it to implement this plan, redeploying the Edge function with only one security check. It's now redeployed the Edge function, so let's test it again. It's ran into another error, but if we inspect this, notice that it's a 500 error code this time, which means it's not getting the authorization issue, which means that the authorization worked. So let's have a look into this one. It seems like it's an issue with the payload getting sent across over to the API endpoint. So again, let's take a screenshot of this. We'll drop it into the Bolt agent, ask it, what can we do to fix this? And the agent has responded, good news, the 401 is gone, but now we have the different error, unexpected end of JSON input. Here it's telling us to enable the body and also to send through this JSON format. So we'll copy this, come back into N8N, we'll enable the body, make sure the content type is JSON, select using JSON, and we'll paste what it just gave us. Now let's try it out. And there we go. It was successfully able to send that JSON payload over into our Bolt database. So let's open up Bolt, preview our project, refresh the page, and here we go. It was successfully able to receive that HTTP request. So let's go back in and test the entire flow now. Let's open up Linear again, add a few more new items, add a footer to the landing page. It should be large and include a privacy policy assigned to me. We'll create this issue. Let's do another one. Make the navigation bar mobile responsive. It should be a hamburger menu on the right and slide in from the right, assigned to me. We'll create the issue. Now let's mark both of these as done. Open up our N8N workflow. Let's make sure that we're only using tickets from the last 10 minutes, which is correct. Now let's execute this workflow. It sent 2 items off to the AI agent. The HTTP request works successfully. Let's go back into Bolt, refresh the page. We can see that test update has come through again this time. So let's jump back into N8N. And if we notice, we can see the summary here says test update. So it's literally sending this data instead of the input from the left-hand side here. So no problem. Let's take a screenshot of this and explain the issue to the Bolt agent. We've dropped the screenshot in and here's our prompt. Look at the items in the database and look at how we literally sent the mock JSON data via HTTP request. It should instead use the input data on this node in N8N. How can we fix this? It's important for you to understand this troubleshooting process that we're going through. Now, a lot of the times you'll be using different tools like N8N and you may not be an expert in this. Simply by taking screenshots like this, putting it into the Bolt agent in chat mode, you then have context of your code base, your server functions, and the screenshot from the new tool. And that's when the Bolt agent can best help you with the problem. This time it's saying that it wants us to change the JSON body to be an expression. And we'll copy this over, change it to an expression, paste in that new string, and now let's test it out. It worked. Let's jump over to Bolt, refresh the page, and there we go. Now we can see the summary. The team completed front-end UI enhancements focus on site structure and mobile usability, delivering mobile responsive navigation, blah, blah, blah. And here are the 2 completed tickets that even include the link themselves to the linear item. Now we're using this AI agent workflow within N8N to completely summarize these tickets that are coming in via linear. To finish it off, what we'll do is we'll change this to perhaps days. We'll change it to 1. So it's checking for all of the tickets in the last day. And then let's change this node to be a on schedule. We'll do it every 1 day. Drag it in, connect it, and we'll publish the workflow. With both of those workflows published, we're now automatically drawing in tickets which are marked as done every single day, summarizing them and sending them directly to this website. Note that because the HTTP request is adding them directly into the Bolt database, we don't need to republish the Bolt site every single day. It automatically comes through, and whenever the user refreshes their page, they will see these updates. In this video, we've been able to connect linear to N8N and then N8N to Bolt via an HTTP request. This is quite a basic agentic workflow, but as you can see, just by connecting these nodes together, you can wire agents to data inputs to other tools, and really your creativity is the only thing that's going to limit you here. This really is an incredible way that you can supercharge your app so you can get it to schedule tasks or do things automatically so that you don't have to. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and all the best implementing your agentic workflows into your Bolt project. As always, if there's any content that you'd like to see, please leave it in the comments below and we'll do our best to get with it. And thanks for watching.